The affirmation pocket.
What is an affirmation pocket?
Yesterday,
Oh, the
Sasha
jar?
created affirmation pocket.
Because he didn't have an
He
we were doing
didn't
affirmation
have a
jars.
jar,
Yeah.
so he was walking around putting affirmations in his pocket. But I've decided that everyone permanently should have affirmation pockets.
Okay, I like that. Which one were you going to put in your affirmation pocket?
Which
Affirmation were you going to put in your pocket? Sorry, I missed.
Depends on
I missed the affirmation.
where I am and what I'm doing that day.
I do like the idea of always having affirmation pockets ready to go to put affirmations in. I collect them all day. I was like, ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna put that in my pocket.
Do you use your affirmations afterwards though? Like, have you checked in with your jar already?
I took them, yeah. Last night.
You're a better human than I am.
Well, I'm like, I could use affirmations right now, so I'm going to open up the box of affirmations I just got today.
Your box of joy.
My box of, we ran out of jars, so I had a box, and it was called Benji's Box of Joys, and I loved it.
Plural.
Multiple
many
joys. I still want to add more joys into it, but it's really lovely. Words of affirmation, I think, is now one of my new top love languages. Before it was not in my top 3. And then it's one of my partners. And now I'm like, you know what? This is really good. Ooh, they feel so good when I get words of affirmation. They go down smooth.
Yourself or others?
All of the above. I give myself affirmation. Sometimes I write them down for myself and I put them in my bag or my pocket to find later. Especially if I know I'm going to go like do a hard thing. So I'll.
It's a visualization technique. The affirmation and the visual. Do you agree? Okay, let me get, I'm in my head right now. Let me get out of my head, and I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about when you say this affirmation thing, and it makes you feel really good.
Yeah. Do you have an intrusive thought that you need to get out?
Yeah, no, it's not intrusive. Okay. But a long time ago, at least 10 years ago, I was having a hard time falling asleep. It was really hard for me to sleep because I'm undiagnosed ADHD, but anyone I come in contact with that has it or works in the field, they're like, your profile aligns. And I'm like, who knows? And so, yes, I'm ready. Do you want to go to sleep? I do want to go to sleep.
Oh, you're like gentle parenting yourself.
Yeah. And then I'd say, okay, and what feels great about sleep right now? Ooh, I'm cozy. That's my way of saying cozy. Don't mock me. And then I'd be cozy in bed. And then the next thing would be like, and you're beautiful. And I am beautiful. And then I would like go through this whole dialogue with myself, but I would drift off to sleep while saying these incredible things about myself.
That's really lovely
practice. I shared that with someone and they made fun of me.
It's not a cool person.
I know they're not. And I think back and I'm like, they were not. But I remember like being very vulnerable and being like, I do this thing. Because they were saying, oh, I have a hard time falling asleep. And I was like, you could drift off loving yourself. And then they were like, what are you doing? And I was like, not that.
I think it's very cool to be kind to yourself.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah. You're like,
there's lots of ways to love yourself, but I was talking about internally.
Yeah.
Anyways, it works to this day. I noticed just recently I was having a hard time falling asleep. And I brought it back. And it worked.
That's great. I might practice that. I've been having a hard time falling asleep. So the affirmation thing, that's the connection. Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Affirmation practice.
Before we get into it, because there's so much goodness to come, I just want to check in with you. We've done a lot together lately. Are you feeling great?
Yes, I'm feeling like, do you know when your processing is lagging? That's how I feel. Like there's just been so many things and I need to process them, and I process things maybe on this, I don't want to say slower end because it's all a spectrum and everyone's got their own speed, but it takes me time to like process events and things. So there's been so many things. So I think I'm like 2 weeks still processing. Wow. So in 2 weeks, I'm going to like really process all the things. Yeah, I'm not good at live processing. It's not one of my...
You're like, so we need to have a chat. Turns out.
But like it's the feeling being left with like the event, like we've had multiple events and like it's, yeah, I just feel like there's so much to unpack because they were really, I think anything you do in this work of rec therapy and leisure, there's just it's just like a never ending thing to kind of get new insights out of. And so we could just unpack them forever and ever.
Always.
Yeah. So I think I'm showing up excited.
Good.
Yeah. How about yourself?
I'm showing up. Oh, I don't know. I feel really grateful. I feel like a lot of people always say, well, I feel gratitude, but I feel an immense amount of gratitude. And particularly recently this morning when the photo from our team was shown, we had our first recent group photo taken of the collective of JJRT. And I was washed over by like profound gratitude. Like, I love to swear, but I'm not going to swear right now. But like, it was like a holy F kind of moment for me, because it was like how, and I think this is where like the part, like I'm excited because today's all about body and all about movement. And I think for me, getting here was a lot of that work, because like still to my day, like still today when I like see that picture, it's like, how did I make that happen? Like how did it all come to fruition that I'm so lucky of a human being that I get to be surrounded by these incredible people that I magnetically brought in. Like it was my force that brought them in. And then that makes me think about how powerful everybody is in life by design, like choosing the people we want to share space with.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I making sense?
Yeah. I think it's like, I think about like relationships and like this like proximity, and being like when people enter this kind of bubble of the like my world, and then getting to overlap with other people's worlds, and I think that's just really, and then it opens up mine, and then it keeps extending and extending, just to be around really cool humans. And then like when you're around a cool human, you're like, oh wow, this is just I don't know. That's just why I believe I'm here, just to be around cool humans and connect with them and just like learn.
I don't know if I'm in that realm yet where I classify me as a cool human, but I'm working towards it.
One of your affirmations when you're falling asleep.
You'll be cool, a cool human.
I like that.
I love that. All right, well, I'm excited because today, like I mentioned, I'm making these faces. I'm really excited because today's all about the body. It's about movement. It's about playing and fitness through those lenses.
Yeah.
And of course, this podcast is all about leisure. And how do we do that through a leisure lens? So are you ready to hear who my guest is?
I'm very excited.
Oh, good. So joining me is our surprise guest. They are incredible. She's a Hobie alumni, a fitness trainer, founder of the New Leaf Collective, and a global public speaker. May I introduce to you Ashley Rowe.
I do my like royal hair.
I like this.
Hi, everybody. Good morning.
Oh, it's so good to have you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so excited that we're reconnecting because you and I met recently within the last year.
Yes, we
at
did.
The Gender
Coalition Conference.
I'm really glad that you connected. There was a long.
It was a thing. It was a thing. Yeah,
but it was really outstanding.
Yeah.
And we had the opportunity to meet after I had the opportunity to listen to you speak.
Yes.
Fantastic speaker.
Thank you.
And your whole entire presentation was so motivating and inspiring for me. And
Thank you.
Yeah, I just really enjoyed that whole conference. Was really cool.
And what did you talk about at the conference?
Yeah. So at the conference, my talk specifically was about an unfortunate moment where a video of mine had gone viral on, like, let's call it the wrong side of the internet. And I think the talk was, though, which I didn't actually realize it at the time, but the talk for me was almost in a way to see if like other people had experienced this. And like, I found that by sharing my own story and being vulnerable, I didn't exactly know where it would go. Like, I'd never done this kind of talk or style before. Yeah. And I just think that it was really wonderful in a way to be able to connect with people, and not in a way of like, I'm sorry, and this is like how I fixed it or something like that, but just be like, I'm sorry. And like, that was enough, right? And so I think that's something that I really loved about the conference was it wasn't like a, hey, I did this and here's my top survival guide. It was like, no, this is how it actually was horrible to have had virality going like the way that it did. And I was really impressed by other members in the audience, like ourselves, like having those kind of shared stories and experiences as well too, and just sitting with each other and being like, man, that was hard. I don't know how to fix it, but that was hard.
But being
and
together.
That's being together in it. Yeah.
So that's how we met.
I love that. Connecting through vulnerability. That's really special.
I know.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
Ashley, tell us, like, what are you doing these days? Tell us about your life.
Yes. Okay. So few things going on. So the first is my company, the New Leaf Collective, actually celebrated 3 years yesterday. So that was very wonderful. We had like a coffee hour and then a little Pilates class as well too, which was really fun. And it was really great to be able to have small businesses come together. And as much as it was like a celebration of the 3rd year of the New Leaf Collective, I tried to make programming that was very much like celebrating all of us. So people could like fill in a big or small win that they had. And if they wanted to have their company name, awesome. And if they didn't, awesome as well too. And then I would kind of read them out so that everybody would have the chance to be celebrated, which was so beautiful. And then as well, I'm also training for, I almost said my very first half marathon. Not true. I've run like 7 of them. Not in like not in like a weird way, but yeah, I feel it's such like a thing where I'm like, oh, my first, I'm like, hang on. Yeah, I think this would be my like 7th or 8th.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's so wild. Wow. So yeah.
So I've always, phone made a really weird sound. I've always wanted to run a marathon.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to take us on like a little side quest that we didn't plan for, but like, how do you do it? Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
How do you get into your head?
Well, I think it's like something that I hope that we talk about today is my journey of like finding my first race and kind of like what that felt like. But I think getting myself into the mindset of it was, for me, it was just such like a big goal in like both. I always do my thing where I say it's like a big goal bracket positive or like bracket negative. So I'm going to say this is a big goal bracket positive of like something that was just on the cusp of what I wasn't sure I was able to do, but ultimately was something that I knew that I had it in me, whether I knew it or not for the very first one, but there was something that really like called me to that number.
So good.
And so I think it's been really amazing because through training in that way, it's actually allowed me to have a lot of like bring a lot of fun back into my life. But also I think the way that I take care of myself is so much more intentional. Because I do have like this big goal. And so I want to make sure that I'm supporting myself in a way that can like truly make that happen. So that's where I found such a beauty in like creating one of these big goals is like, it's helped me take care of myself in so many other ways. But you could have like something like a half marathon and that's like what you need to find joy in movement. That's how I operate. Whereas my fiance, his outlook on it is more of, he finds joy in movement by like creating habits and routines. Yeah. So he doesn't need the like the end race or something like that. For him, the joy is habit and routine. And for me, the joy is like finishing that big thing. So I just want to honor how everybody's brains work, because if you fit into either of those two categories or any category as it relates to movement, that's like a really good thing. So it doesn't have to be so like rigid of a specific goal. It can be habit forming, it can be finding joy, it can be buying new shoes, it can be like all, you know what I mean? Like it can, whatever motivates you. So power in all the different ways that our brains work.
And so we talk about brains. Tell us this. I want to know more about the New Leaf Collective.
Yes.
So tell us about this.
That is my brain, basically.
I want to know. We want to know.
Yeah. So the New Leaf Collective, so what it does is it helps small businesses and non-for-profits get access to things like social media, marketing, web design, graphic design, all of those different pieces there. But what it's always been for me is giving businesses the recognition that they deserve. And I feel that businesses work so incredibly hard at their craft, at their work, at their service, and oftentimes can't either like afford or get access to those resources. And so what the New Leaf Collective is that space where regardless of business, regardless of budget, you can come and find some support in there, regardless of anything. And so that value has been something that I've instilled from the very beginning and has continued to now, but something that I have found personally with the New Leaf Collective is something that we call like a mentorship kind of session program. But it's where I will come and visit a business specifically and like sit in their business and sit and like be with them. And so what I kind of mentioned before about how everybody's brains work differently, when you give like a blanket, let's say like marketing advice in this example, it's not always going to resonate because oftentimes it's probably trying to pick at something that somebody may feel weakness about in their marketing and their business. And I just have never liked that. And so this one-on-one approach has really allowed me to like get in there, sit with the businesses, like tell me about your space, tell me about, how your kids are involved and like that kind of thing. And
so
that
relational.
to me, it's just like changed everything. And it also allows me to work with people and how their brains work specifically. So it's not like this is how we do it and this is the right way. This is like, okay, are you somebody who needs a to-do list? Are you somebody who needs it done? Are you somebody who needs a combination of both? And those are all wonderful. And so what I try and do is encourage all ways of thinking, all ways that our brains will work is a really good thing. And I find I'm pretty good at understanding those different ways and being able to help in that way. So
So
really
wonderful.
love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I guess just like a basic question, what does fitness mean for you?
Okay.
Okay, this
Yes,
is good.
this is a good one. So I think if you would have asked me when I was a kid, I would have said something differently. If you would have asked me like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, something completely different. And today would be a complete opposite of what I would say there. Because I think like as a kid, when we think of fitness, I didn't actually really think of it as fitness, right? It's just going outside to play with friends and like, you join a sports team because that's what offers through the school, right? So I think like it's almost like that childlike wonder of like, I don't really know what the guidelines are, and that's not true, but like I don't know them yet. So I just get to play and explore and be exactly who I am. So when I was a kid, I loved running. I did all like the cross country, the track and field, all of the things like for people watching, I am like 5 foot, maybe 2, maybe even not. That's even like generous. I don't know. But I remember when I was a kid, there was this activity called steeplechase, which is, oh my gosh. So it's literally like, so you run around a track and every like 100 meters, there's a hurdle, but the hurdle is like a, like not like a little hurdle, like a massive, like you have to put your hands over it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay, so it's like wide.
Yeah, it's a wide hurdle, like a platform.
Okay.
And so you run around and you do this. Now, again, listeners, even then, like now the 5 foot is generous. I was probably like 4, I don't even know. I was a little lady, and again, no bounds. Like there's literally like no bounds. Like there's no boundaries. So I'm like, okay, amazing. Like I can definitely do this. Now what they don't tell you is the 4 steeple, water. So after you literally jump into water. So I'm like, oh, this is fun. I'm like childlike wonder. So I enter the event. 9 people, 8 people move on. I'm 9th. Nobody else on the track left. And it's the final lap. And I run and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm just going to do it how all the tall girls do it. I stick one leg up on the steeple. My ankle gets hooked and I literally face first into the water puddle. Like, and well, it's not a puddle. It's a pool. That's the point. It's steeplechase. And I face plant like into the steeplechase. London Free Press was there that day.
Oh my god!
Cover of their track and field event.
No, they
They put it as the cover?
Face first.
Wow.
They did. It was awesome. My family loved it.
Well, you're like, now I'm on the cover.
And it was so like, but that's like the childlike wonder, like, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, I don't know any better. And then sure enough, I'm like, oh, you're going to remember because you are the poster child of falling face first on the steeplechase. So that, a little bit of a funny story, but that's like how I would describe being a kid with fitness is it was that. It was fun. It was funny. It was like no bounds. And then as I got older, probably a few years ago, it was like, oh, I would never do that because I don't look the right way, or I couldn't possibly do that because my body doesn't move in the way that it used to when I was a kid. And so I found myself like really limiting myself without realizing it, because I would just be like, oh, I'm not a runner, like, though, you know, whatever, right? And it's also, it's partially my own beliefs, partially the people I surrounded myself with, just like not good at that time. And so when I was reinventing myself really at the time when my company was starting too, and when I just signed up for that race, it was one of the first times that I just like stopped thinking about fitness. And I didn't think about it as fitness. I just thought about it as like, I want to achieve this goal. And it doesn't matter what my body looks like. It doesn't matter what anything looks like, because I knew that I could show up in any way and it would be okay. But then after that, it was like, oh, the flip, just like the switch flip. No, that, that. And I was just like, oh, like, this is just fun. And then you go through different patterns with fitness where it feels less fun and then more fun. And I feel very lucky to say right now I'm in more of a fun like era of fitness. I don't think it's always been that way, even after the kind of like reinvention period. I think there's times where you naturally fall into the pressures of social media and things like that. But right now, I truly feel like it's really fun because I'm not worried about anything else other than like, you know, what route will we get to experience together? What like fun snack will we get to have? And like, I think I'm thinking of it less of like, I need to look a certain way, be a certain way, because I don't, like, that's not what I want to promote on my own, like, self as well, too, let alone to others. And so this personal block has been really fun because it's no focus on anything else other than fun, spending time with my fiance to run together, spending time with, like, friends and family, and, like, letting them in that way so we can all kind of share this experience together. Has just been so wonderful. So that's so my long-winded way of saying it's gone up and down and here and there.
I like that a lot.
Do you, like, I'm looking at you because I'm curious about, like, where you found yourself in that story. Because grade 6, I won the Athlete of the Year award. Okay. But I had heard, like, from a little bird in grade 5 that in order to win the Athlete of the Year award, all you had to do was sign up for all the sports. And so your dedication and commitment to the sport would give you the overall clout.
I see. Right? That's what Athlete of the Year meant. It meant that
like
you were trying.
The most, I think, right? But in my brain, somewhere in the waves that my brain was like shooting off its neuroplasticity, I somehow got it in my head that it meant first place. Like, right?
Yeah.
Like I need to get into all these sports because I will be superior. Like, if I win this athlete, like, I'll be athletic.
I'll be the best.
I'll be the best.
And the best means.
Right?
Yeah.
And I hung on to that little trophy. I think I still have it. But my perception of leisure, or not leisure, where are we here? Fitness. My perception of fitness has stemmed from that. And even though
always a moment.
Oh my gosh. And even though I try my best to not go back to that space where fitness isn't about being better than, it always gets me to that space where I'm like, well, I'm getting up early. I'm going to the gym. I'm doing all these really hard things. So therefore, and so I guess like, my question for you, and I heard when you're sharing your story, is like not comparing, not thinking about, you know, the worry of the stuff we don't need to worry about, right? How do you do that? Because I still get caught up in that narrative in my brain, where I'm like, look at me, I'm so athletic. Look at me, I'm doing all the hard things.
Where's my trophy?
Where's my trophy? And I'm not getting one anymore. So it's like this, this narrative I struggle with where I just want to move my body for fun. I just want to eat a balanced diet. But even now, I'm also training. It's like macros. Oh, you got to watch this. If you ate too much fat here, less than that, eat a little light carbs, jack that protein.
All
like yesterday I was telling you, I'm like, all my meals have to be anchored by protein. And it's like, I'm trying so much to just lean in and enjoy the movement piece. But then you're swarmed by much is coming at me. What do you do? How do you manage it?
I have two things. Two things that come to mind. I'm going to tell you one from a personal perspective and one from a marketing perspective. marketing first. So on things like Instagram, TikTok, like any of those things where you would typically be seeing these messages, there is a small feature where you can flag something as interested or not interested. So every month, because it resets every 30 days, which I think is wild.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but if you click on a video, so let's say you see a video that comes across and it's something that's like a triggering thing, or it just like doesn't fall into like, doesn't serve us, you can mark it as not interested, and that content and any other content that is in that category won't show up. So every 30 days, I call it my like social media like little cleanse, where I'll just go through and maybe I'll spend an hour, and like I guess that is obviously an hour spent away from like other things, but I'll spend the hour and I'll flag things as interested, not interested, interested, not interested.
That
so
sounds
for that,
like, to me though, you're making a very purposeful, intentional piece to better your life. Or to increase quality of life for you.
A little bit, but I think it's also just like I am somebody who can get triggered by different things very easily. So it's also like better life, but also like it's almost like a protection in a way that I'm like, okay, for the next month, I know usually if I'm still using social media at whatever rate that I am, then I know that the content that's going to be coming through is at least somewhat better in my brain in terms of less triggering for me specifically. Now, things will still come through, and that's like something to consider. But for the most part, I found that I've been able to curate my social media in a way that overall is more positive, because I do work in marketing, so naturally I just am going to be on it, but I found different ways to like make it a little bit more positive. So that's my like tactile, like go on your phone and try that. Now, like my own personal experiences, just like touching grass, which I know sounds like so
amazing.
You know,
it's called grounding.
You talked about that in the first episode, where you're like little picnics with yourself.
Yes, I literally heard about that. But I'm just like, sometimes something that I always think about is like, it has not been and will never be that serious. And I just like, I love it so much because I feel like I wound myself up into so many different things. And especially with online, that whether you like it or not can be like trigger video, like it can it can be that way. And so I think that once I come out of that and step into like my own self, like I come into that with that tensity. And so something that I always like to try and think of when I'm comparing myself, and when you naturally do that, because like it's kind of human nature in that way, I always try and think of like, it can't be that serious. Like it, you know, I think that as hard as it is, we need to try and do our best to stay like within ourselves, and like the people that we hold close, like those would be the people that I would rely on for those types of feedback, but not like the internet, and not the way that I see like something online in that way that I think would like hurt the way that I think about myself. Like if a friend tells me that I'm doing something that isn't great, I'd be like, okay, yeah, you know me well enough to know that like this is
matters.
Yeah, your opinion matters. This is like a behavior like I think that I could change, like right on. But like when I'm seeing like as we kind of talked about, like the blanket statements online, I'm just like, like you don't know like what anybody's body's like, family history, like all of those different things.
So I heard something from my kids. They taught me something really cool. If you're giving feedback or a comment to someone and that person cannot change it within 30 seconds, then you need to be constructive, compassionate, empathetic, or don't even make a comment. So, you know, like, that's good. It really does refine how we approach people at that shallow surface level, right? So for people being like, oh, you just need to run more. And you're like, okay, well, I can't do that in 30 seconds and do all of those things. So we need to learn to be patient. We learn to be accepting, right?
Yes, exactly. We need to learn to like sit with ourselves exactly as we are. And that is not easy, but it's something that I've been trying to really focus on in like, especially training for this next upcoming half marathon, is like not trying to think of it as any of those other ways other than just like, this is exactly who I'm going to be. I'm not trying to change myself to finish this race. I'm just trying to find joy in all of the places that I can to make that day even more memorable. And I think we've been able to do that so far. And I want to really hold that as it gets closer, and naturally those things kind of like more ramp up in that way.
Yeah.
I want to ensure to continue to find the joy in it. And so stay tuned.
Yeah.
No, I love
Yeah. Yeah.
So all of this gets me thinking 2 questions.
Yes.
Maybe I'll just say them and then we can just morph a great answer.
Okay, I'm here for it.
How does the no pain, no gain mentality shape the way people see their bodies?
Okay.
So like, again, going back to my example, I'm just starting to find comfort in moving because I'm capable of moving and my body's deserving to move.
Yes.
Like looking at it from a perspective of like, I want to move because it feels good to move.
Yes. Yeah.
Versus like, you got to do this and it doesn't matter if it hurts.
Yeah.
And then my other thing is like, do you think the mindset is connected to hustle culture more broadly? And what does that look like for you?
Well, I think, a few things that I can go into there, and I love it. So I think that like, also in being like in an entrepreneurial space, that's like the only thing that you hear of in terms of the hustle culture as it relates to like entrepreneurship and fitness. And you in that case, it's always like, you must have this certain routine, no pain, no gain. You need to like slay all these dragons or something to like get $1 million.
Like the macros thing.
And I'm just like,
if you don't eat your perfect macros,
Yeah.
Jessie, you're not going to lose that stubborn perimenopause weight.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just want a piece of flipping cake.
Yeah,
I just want a piece of cake.
And you should.
And I should.
Yes, and you should have the cake. Like literally, because like I think the way that like I see it in 2 perspectives. I always say like my marketing and my personal perspective. My personal perspective is if movement hurts, just do not do it. Like I think there's with the no pain, no gain. I don't actually know how much you gain from the pain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
You might actually just get more pain.
Yeah, exactly.
You just get more pain.
Yeah, and I think like from a marketing perspective, like the way that people talk about that is to get those views and those clicks, and maybe that resonates for somebody and like go for it. But it's hard because when it's resonating with people and it doesn't resonate with you, it's still getting popular all the same, right? So that's why we see these messages. And these messages, those people at the end of the day, they probably don't believe them or follow them or things like that, but they market in a way to have these big explosive things that are like, they design it in a way to make you feel bad. And it's like, why? Like, this is not the way that we should be thinking about fitness. But unfortunately, from a marketing perspective, that's like why people are making those big claims. And I think something that we can do to kind of bring those back is truly realizing that in those case scenarios, it could be some type of campaign or tactic to lure you in, and they base it off of something. They found something that works with their audience, and they do that. But I think that like, honestly, like weird things like just going out and like touching grass or like spending time with the people that you love, I feel to me takes me out of that headspace of like the counting and the different things like that will come up in those like social media settings. And so, I found that those have been the most helpful ways to recenter myself. But to the same point is you could also find community that does fall into those messages too. So it's also like making sure that the people that you open yourself up to in that way, like showing your belly, really, in that way, can support you.
Yeah.
And that's not an easy thing to do either. But when you do find those people, I feel like that's where I can really step outside of those videos, those things, and just feel like I'm exactly who I am, and that.
Yeah, you know, and you look like you have a question.
Yeah,
I'm just like of a follow-up. Like, I think I've had a little aha moment.
Yeah.
That I think I had this moment in university when we talk about the commodification of leisure. Whenever we tie any commodified space to something that was derived from joy.
Yeah.
So fitness is the commodification of movement, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, why can't I just go out and walk the dog and feel great and move and hike with my friends and go and do these adventures? But now it's just constantly going back to that. We keep talking about this, but the capitalism, it's all about driving that productivity. It's driving the you need to be better.
Yeah.
You can't move without the goal of like how are you going to look at the end?
Yeah.
Or how are you going to, and it's like, why can't we just do it because it makes me feel happy?
Why can't my goal just be joy?
Why can't,
Why can't my goal just be like, I just want to like feel nice and like
right?
enjoy the moment that
I have so many more questions, but Benji.
I guess as you were talking, I was just thinking a lot more of like when this like prescriptive mindset and like versus needs. And I talk about this with my therapist a lot of being like, how do we listen to our bodies really? And like versus taking this like prescriptive thing about being like, you need to hit whatever number, whatever this plan, like fitness plan looks like you need to insert that into your life.
Yeah.
Versus like just really sitting with yourself and like, what does my body really need right now?
Yeah.
And sometimes my body needs to like move. Sometimes my body needs to put my hand up above my head because that feels really comforting.
Yeah, literally.
Or like sing or like whatever that looks like, and like how we build that connection between what we really need.
Yeah.
And then how do we like feel safe enough to find a place that we can like just like really listen to ourselves, because there is so much noise.
There's so much noise, yeah.
And there's so much pressure. And what you said about like trying to remove that pressure, like there's one thing to like try to infuse joy into those things, but also like what do we have to take out to be able to like to feel the joy, because there's so much.
Yeah.
So much dirty water.
Yeah.
Get cleansed.
There
What does
really
that look
is.
like?
And like I just think that when it comes down to it, like because there is always going to be like so much noise and so many like different like ways that you were kind of saying, I think sometimes I find it in two ways. Sometimes my body will scream it at me and I'll listen and that will be like getting sick or like, like those types of things. And I think like that's the area that I've been really trying to like avoid is when, because there's two things. It's your body either screams it at you or one day you just pay attention and you notice it before. So I've been trying to step away from where my body gets to a point where it's like, no, you're going to listen whether you like it or not.
You're so far down the line.
Yeah.
Okay, so that reminds me, and to put a pin, because I want to continue this, but like that saying, make time for wellness or you're making time for illness.
Yeah.
So like we don't have to think of wellness is all the things, listening to our bodies.
Yeah.
Not, not allowing ourselves to fall victim to the noise, which is very easy to do.
Yeah.
But like paying attention, because you're right.
Yeah.
Your body will tell you. And if we look at like, that's a micro perspective. If you look macro and you go years not listening, and
then you never know what could pile up, right?
Right? Like, and then you just think about like, what if I had been more intuitive or more honoring of
those things, and you could have maybe like had seen it coming. And I think like something that I've actually recently done that I would say I've never ever thought that I would do in my life before to help me get in tune, I guess, with my body, is I actually started dancing.
That's so great.
Which has been like a very interesting, because like when I was a kid growing up, like my parents would put me in like business camp and like speech competitions, which like, Mom and Dad.
Did we live the same life?
I
feel like I took entrepreneurship growing up and like Kobe and all these leadership things.
And like all
I didn't do dance. I didn't do gymnastics.
No, and I was like, I feel like I always had that like little bit in me that was like, oh, what if I just like did ballet? And like I never did. And that's fine. That's my story. Like that's probably why I'm sitting here talking to you guys right now. But recently, a way that I have been able to like get, I guess, back more into my body is I take like one-on-one like private dance lessons. So I learn like from an instructor. She's wonderful.
So good.
But it's not in like a group class setting where I feel like naturally you would do like the comparison that or the other. But something that she does that I find really special right before the class, I don't know if this would be every instructor, of course, but it's a lot of like breathing exercises and like fully like coming into your body, like EFT tapping as well too.
Wow.
And so that I feel like for me has been a game changer of like, I'll do these lessons, but the first half is really just me figuring out like what's hurting and like where I could like maybe use more rest or things like that.
Send more love to
listening,
that part.
Listening too. Yeah.
And then the dance has just been so fun. And it's not something that I ever would think to do or like was ever, I feel like, a part of my journey, but has now just been like so wonderful and just been such a fun way, I feel like, to be able to express myself in a way that I don't think I ever really would have thought of. And that's also truly why I feel like this era right now is more like the joy of movement, because now I'm like dancing and now too, after these classes where I've taken that time to really sit and breathe and like be with myself, I'll notice like, okay, my leg is maybe hurting a little bit more. So now it's weirdly enough been able to help back with running because I just breathe and sat with myself. I'm like, okay, my right leg's hurting. I'll roll it out or like
so
do an extra thing.
That is
and
so
then
good.
And then I'm not getting hurt by movement.
By
and
like
I was
pushing through the pain.
Through the leisure experience of dance, you were
Mm-hmm.
able to pay attention to your body. Yeah. My walks with Leonard, my dog. Yeah. My feet at the end of my walk, because we go for like 90-minute walks.
Right on.
When I get back, I said to my husband last night, I'm like, my feet, like I've just noticed more and more my feet hurt. And he said, maybe it's time to get better shoes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or
like the orthopedics. Yeah, I've done
and
that.
I was like, this is 40. But also, I was paying attention where before, when I was working all the time, I would have been like, I work a lot. That's what I do.
Yeah,
my
exactly.
feet hurt.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's like, it doesn't have to be that way. No, that's awesome. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
Like when we pay attention, it's crazy the outcomes that can come from it. But new shoes will be wonderful. I love shoe shopping. So
I also love it's not the loop of being like my feet hurt. Maybe I walked for too long. Maybe this is something about me, or it's like, how do I just support? Because I love the walks. I want to keep walking. They feel really good. How can I support myself doing the thing that I know that I love?
Not give up. Be like, oh, my feet hurt. I guess I'm done.
Yeah. Or like, that's, or like internalize the pain of it.
I can't walk.
Yeah. It's like, I'm just not, I haven't set it up maybe in a way that could make this more enjoyable for myself. I love that. And I so relate to dancing. Dancing helped me so much. Like when I, like in the throes of like depression and like when things got really heavy and sad, dance made me feel, I use the term untethered, and that is, but it's a way that I feel flow. I can access flow is when I feel untethered from this pressure of performing and results and hustle, whatever all of that pressure
all of those things.
is. When I'm dancing, I feel untethered from that. And the way that I support myself in dancing, because it can feel, the perfectionist mindset can still leak into everything. I like headphones and darkness is how I prefer to dance, because it helps me access that
access that flow state. Love it.
I love dance so much. I do think it's something that I think we literally yesterday someone said that I can't dance, and I'm like, I think all humans can dance. I think that's naturally part of being,
we can all get down.
A human is just like, we just move in a way that feels good. That we just express through movement. And literally. I do feel like that's
So everybody try dancing this week.
Yeah,
in whatever capacity you want to.
I
try it.
Whatever way feels good.
Yeah.
Try it out.
Try it out. See what happens.
Okay, let's talk about leadership now.
Yes.
And the body. How do you see play and leisure shaping not only the body, but also leadership and mindset?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think like when I think of it, like in terms of leadership, so I'll probably talk about the New Leaf Collective. So in that role, like being the founder of the company, that's where I find most of my leadership roles, is like not only managing myself, but managing a team. And I know that if I am not feeling good, then it weighs kind of heavily in that way, because if I'm not feeling good, my team might not be feeling good and things like that. So I know that it's not productive. It's good for me to take care.
It's okay. We make mistakes. Mistakes means we're learning.
Yeah, it's good for me to take care of myself, because I know that I can show up as a better me. I know I can show up as a better partner. I know I can show up as like a better boss in those ways and things like that. And I just think that the time that I've poured into myself and found leisure truly, like honestly, when I was thinking about this episode and like what that would mean to me earlier this summer, my fiance and I went and we drove down to the East Coast. So we drove right here from London.
The East Coast is so magical.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. And so we drove all the way down. Our base was like in St. John, New Brunswick. And so that's kind of like where we were. And I remember specifically like that trip was the first time in 3 years that I'd taken a vacation from my job, which was crazy, but it just kind of happened that way, right? Like, and so it was the first time where I had like laptop off, like fully away for in like 3 years. Yeah, which was super wonderful. But when we thought about leisure and like kind of the theme of the episode in the way of like the joy of movement and that kind of thing, I found it was so wonderful to like not care what time of day it was. And I was like, when was the last time I didn't think about like when my working block started? Like what is going on? And we just
love that.
We just drove. And we drove and we drove and we drove. And when we finally got to St. John, we met up with a friend of ours and they were basically like, hey, things aren't far here. And I'm like, oh, everything has to be 17 hours away. Like, what do you mean?
We live in Ontario, where it takes
like,
26 hours to get out of the province.
Yeah. And so she was like, yeah, like PEI is like close. And I was like, what do you mean close? And she's like, it's close. And so this trip was so beautiful because it was unplanned. Yeah. It was a time where we didn't look at the clock. We didn't look at like anything else. We just got in the car and drove. And I specifically remember what it felt like to like grip my steering wheel and be like so scared. And I couldn't figure out what this feeling was, right? Because I wasn't scared to like, what was I missing at work? I wasn't scared of like, am I doing enough to pay the bills? Like what, you know, all of the different things that our mind subconsciously is being driven by. Yeah. And I'm just driving this car down like moose callings are like on the side of the road. I'm just driving it and I'm just like freaked out. Yeah. And my partner is just like, you know, like, how are we doing? Because he can see it. He can see it in my like own hands.
Were you so scared and excited at the same time because it was freedom?
Yeah, it was free. It was freedom. Like, it was truly freedom.
Like,
and
that
it wasn't
untethered feeling.
Yeah, untethered.
And new. And
and it was a new experience. And I just think that like we, it was so spontaneous in such like a beautiful way. Not spontaneous in the way of like we knew it existed and like we might do it. It was like we truly had no idea how close it was. And then it was just like, let's get in the car and go. And I just hadn't felt that in so long. Like the childlike wonder, the steeplechase moment, that kind of thing. And we drove all the way down to PEI. We got there. And we only had an hour there before the sun went down. Like, I'm being so serious. It was a 6-hour round trip to spend 1 hour in PEI. But if you don't know, for listeners, PEI has a 14-kilometer bridge heading from there.
It does.
Now,
I've been on it.
I am a woman who loves bridges. I love bridges. It is my favorite thing in the world. I don't know what it is. Put me on a bridge and I am like, I love it. And I remember
I am the opposite.
Yeah, no way.
Get me off the bridge.
All of our brains work differently. That's a good thing. Yeah.
That Mackinac Bridge. Have you been across the Mackinac?
Is that the PEI bridge?
Yeah, it's the one between like off Michigan where you're heading towards Sault Ste. Marie.
Oh no, I have not.
Oh gosh, it is like what do they call that bridge? That it's just a suspension bridge. I
love suspension
and it can
bridges.
Sway 20 feet in any direction.
Yeah,
that's terrifying in the best way. I love that so much. That's roller coasters for you, bridges. Bridges.
Okay, so you like bridges.
Yeah, so I like bridges. And it was just like, it was so beautiful because we put down all the windows. We just screamed like on the bridge, like not in a weird way, but like in a beautiful, like just like, and just like, and screamed. But I remember like, and I seriously kid you not, we had an hour, but it was the most beautiful unplanned. My GPS didn't work. I turned down the wrong way. We come up to the water and it's like a lobster shack, an ice cream shop, and the beach. And I was like, how is this possible? And it was like, the other part was so unplanned too. We had the most beautiful like dinner. We got to sit. We touched all the red sand. Like we did the things. And it was just like a moment where we didn't care about anything else other than the time that we were getting to share together. And it was such a beautiful trip. And I think like when I think of the East Coast and that trip specifically, that moment, it will like forever be engraved in my brain of like, it didn't mean anything else. Like there was no ulterior motive to like have done something more or be more productive. It was truly like us experiencing for the first time in so long. And it was so beautiful. And I feel like I came back with such a different perspective on it.
Yeah.
Like after we came back, and I just love the fun that is brought into my life. But from an hour that you spent in PEI.
But I want to challenge you. Was it an hour or was it 6?
Yeah.
True.
I mean, you know, like from
like
point
that.
A back to point B, back to point A, that was your moment.
It was the moment. After I loosened my grip a little bit, that's where I would say that it started. Because I was just like, oh, like, I remember asking my partner, like, is this okay? And he's like, yeah.
Is this allowed?
And it's just like, again, like that childlike wonder of like, oh, like, it's okay. And then as soon as I ungripped the steering wheel a little bit, I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then it was a beautiful way. It's mountains all the way. It's like all the beautiful things, and just like definitely something I don't think we would have ever have experienced in that way.
Yeah, I agree.
Of just so like pure joy, pure no planning, just like existing. And those are the moments where when we come back to like comparing those big statements that we see online, I will literally think back to that time where we just acted instead of thought. And I'm like, oh, like this is what I'm here for. Like I can get swallowed up into these messages, but ultimately there are these far and few experiences that remind you of like what leisure, joy really feels like. So I always try to tap into those when I'm feeling that way. But I wanted to share that story to tell you why I tap into it. Because if I just told you I tap into the East Coast, you'd be like,
what?
Like what?
So,
the feeling behind
I also have an East Coast story. I'm not going to go right into it because it was quite elaborate. But also same spontaneity that my mom was turning 62 years ago.
No way.
I said, Mama, for your 60th birthday, we're best friends. Oh my God, I love this woman. And I said, for your 60th, my treat, I'm going to take you out west. I want you to see the mountains. I want to like take you to Banff. We're going to walk and like Disney it. And you're going to see the caribou on the streets. It's going to be so good.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, yes, let's do it. I was also at the time given the opportunity to speak for the Canadian Therapeutic Rec Association. So it's kind of like, we're going to do a little business, but we're also going to have some fun and play.
Yes,
But that was also the year that the wildfires had broken out at West, and it was becoming quite dangerous. And a lot of flights were being canceled. And our flight ended up being canceled, and we couldn't get into Edmonton to drive to Banff.
Yeah.
So we had to make a really, really challenging decision to say, like, we're not coming, right?
Yeah.
So we canceled the trip the night we were supposed to leave, and I had to call, like, all the people and be like, we're not coming.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mom and I are on the phone around midnight, and she's like, well, this sucks. Like, I was so excited, Jessie. We took 2 weeks off, or was it a week? We just took a week. We took 7 days off, and we had all these high hopes and plans. And I said, I don't know, Ma. Like, I'm sorry. And she's like, no, I mean safety, right? Like, you know. And in that moment, I just sat there and I'm like, we both have a week off. My husband and children know that I am literally like out of here for 7 days.
Yeah.
The permission piece. I was given this permission to like leave. Just go.
Yeah.
So I said to my mom, I was like, so listen, I have an idea. And she's like, what? I'm like, pack your bags or don't unpack.
Yeah.
Be ready. I'm going to be at your house for 5 a.m.
Yep.
And she's like, what are we doing? I'm like, you'll find out when I show up. And so I knew in that moment, I quickly had done like my research and I was like, it's doable. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And I went to Tillsonburg. I picked her up and she gets in the car. She's like, so where are we going?
Yeah.
And I was like, get in the car. We're going to Cape Breton, baby. And my mom's like, what? Oh my God. I said, we're going to do it. We're traveling. We got a week. We got 7 days. We had no idea what we were going to do. We had no hotels booked. We had nothing because we were supposed to go west.
I mean, fair.
So we literally got in the car. We started to drive, and as we're driving, we're map GPT, like doing chat GPT wasn't even a thing then. But like we were like mapping it out, and I was like, okay, Montreal, Quebec, New Brunswick, PEI.
That's
We
the
went
exact
horseback
route.
riding.
Are you kidding?
Oh
That's
yeah,
like exactly
we went
the cities
to
we went to.
Lunenburg,
That's so weird. I love it.
and then we shot up and we did the
Okay.
Cabot Trail, and we got all the way to Sydney, Nova Scotia, when we were like, are we gonna go to Newfoundland? And I was like, we literally just don't have the time. Like, we would have to like get over there. So anyways, we turned around. We went back 7 days, over 7,000 kilometers. Like, we trucked it.
Yeah.
And we had the most magical time. We met great people.
Yeah,
It was me and her.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what mattered.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, we had no clue what we were doing.
Yeah,
We just got to go and like figure it
The
out.
joy of that.
Yeah.
And then the best part, and we laugh about it to this day, she's like, oh, we didn't get to Newfoundland. And then literally moments after we got home, I got a call from the Newfoundland Labrador Therapeutic Rec Association. They're like, would you come be our keynote? And I was like, yes.
Yes.
So I get on the phone, I'm like, yo, guess who's going to Newfoundland? You know,
I'm like, we made it.
Yeah, so but when you share that story, I know that feeling because we let everything go. We just let it go.
And we just exist exactly as we are.
Yeah.
It's so special.
Exactly.
So more of that in
More of that.
2025.
More of that.
Good.
I do think I was going to the first part of your story, which I think is an important piece of when you're scared, when you're white knuckling
literally.
the steering
Yeah.
wheel, and just the fear of doing something unknown and spontaneous and like something that you don't really know what the end result's going to be, like going on a road trip that you've planned nothing about.
Yeah, literally.
And like it's something I talk with my partner a lot. Like, joy is inconvenient. I think like making those, like carving out those moments is like, it's super inconvenient to drive 6 hours to spend 1 hour in PI. Like,
Literally,
that's
my parents were
super-
like, oh,
Like, are you sure you're
yeah.
gonna do that?
Like, oh, okay. Like,
like,
yeah.
it is. It's really inconvenient to take 7 days and just drive 7,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
But
Is
like,
it though?
But that's a frame of it. Like when
Yeah.
I think starting like the night before, maybe, of being like, are we really gonna do that? Like, is that really is that
that
something that I'm really gonna
feeling?
do?
Like-
or like when you're about to do it, being like, are we really gonna do this? Like, I don't know, being really like, that sounds hard. Like, that sounds really out of the way.
Yeah.
I think like, or I could just like watch TV today and like chill in my house, like, which is
I
so
always
valid
think
option.
about that. I always think
Yeah.
about that, of like the experiences that you have when it's like inconvenient. Like,
Or, like, it
it's
takes
not
effort.
Yeah,
Like, you really
exactly.
gotta-
It's not something that I would think of. Like when we were driving there, if you would have told me I was going to drive 6 more hours that day, I would have been like, I'd have been like, no. But it was so beautiful and maybe like inconvenient in like a logical sense.
Yeah,
but when
that's what I
you're,
mean.
but
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But when you're in it, you're like, all right.
You know what though? So my mom and I have been 2.5 years officially smoke free.
Oh, right
But
on.
the thing that
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm really good at quitting, but I'm also really good at starting. So I'm doing really well, and I
That's
don't have
great.
plans of going back. But the funny story we share in that is that we felt like we were just driving and just like smoking. We were like Thelma and Louise with our Tim Hortons coffee, stopping at every Tim's, and we were just like chain smoking together. Like we're going across East Coast. Like
You're doing
that
it.
memory
Yeah.
is so vivid for me. And I remember one time we were getting unpacked at the hotel, and I walked by my sweater, and I was like, oh Lord, like my sweater smells so gross because we had just been hotboxing the car with cigarette smoke. But like these are the memories that I will just sit by myself and laugh and be like, that was
I have
so
one
ridiculous.
too. I have a ridiculous story, and it's a part of this East Coast trip. Very quickly, when we were driving, same kind of thing of like, we don't know any, like, we're just gonna get there when we get there. So we had to drive through Maine, okay?
Yeah.
Something they don't tell you about Maine is you have to drive through the Appalachian Mountains.
No way.
So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, me either. So imagine my shock when we crossed the border and we're like, do, and I'm waiting for my cell service to catch up.
Yeah.
It's not catching up.
Yeah.
It's not doing that. And then we proceed to go 2 hours, no cell service, literally climbing the Appalachian Mountains in our car. And I started realizing, like, oh, if I stop this car, like, we stop.
You're
like,
going back.
yeah, I'm like, we're going back. And like, it was one of the craziest, like, how is this possible? And like white knuckling it again, but also so is my partner. No steering wheel in hand, but just like, we're like, how is this possible? But picture like the two of us 2 hours straight, and we are just climbing the side of the mountain, like over and over. And I was like, I'm never driving again. And then all of a sudden, we pull off of the road. Our GPS was synced to a Dunkin' Donuts. We pull off the road. We get in front of the Dunkin', life comes back on. Like it was
so
the service.
It was just like that moment where
it was a complete dead zone for 2 hours. We get there and we get to the Dunkin'
like,
Donuts, and I am like I'm trying to order, and I'm like she does not know I've been climbing the Appalachian Mountains for 2 hours, and she's trying to ask me how many sugars I want. I'm like, girl, I cannot, I can't deal. So that's another funny part about these stories, right?
Adventure, when you go on an adventure, all the ups and downs.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
so
like, yeah.
good.
So I just had to share that.
I love
I'm
it.
like, we were not ready. Yeah.
It's so memorable,
What's
those
our time?
things.
It's an hour and 10 minutes.
Holy snakes. We really took this one long.
Fast.
Okay.
Oh, that was
That's
good.
okay. It
Really
did not feel like an
fast.
over an hour. I
Yeah.
thought we were at like the 50-minute mark. Okay, so we'll cut that part out where I'm talking like this. So what we'll do is we'll just go right into our leisure rapid fire. And then I wanted to ask so much more.
I know.
Episode
Thank you guys
part
for
2.
I would love a part 2. That's fun. This has been really fun. So
It's been so good.
So what is the rapid fire?
Okay, so
what's going on?
we have unpacked so much today, and we are coming to the close of this incredible episode.
Yes.
Really, it's been so great talking with you.
Thank
really
you guys
has.
so much. This
so
has been
many
so
good
wonderful,
moments.
honestly.
I know. So you're the first guest that we're going to do a leisure rapid fire with. Spontaneous Q&A.
Okay.
Don't think too much. First answer is your answer.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. What's one leisure activity everyone should try at least once?
Dancing.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
If you had 24 hours of completely free time, how would you move your body?
I want to say dancing again, but I'm going to be more creative. Walking.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
What's one mindset shift that helps people embrace leisure in their bodies more fully?
It has not been and will never be that serious.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
What's a leisure experience that changed the way you see your own body?
Running my first 5K without any experience.
Beautiful. And if you could redesign fitness culture to center leisure, what's one thing you'd change?
I would change the way that I want everybody to know that regardless of background, experience, you can show up in these spaces, and I want you to, especially with something like a half marathon or things like that. The beauty of it is any person, elite, regular, any human being runs the same track. And I just think that's so beautiful. And I would love for more people to experience this feeling where there is no bounds to the joy and the accomplishments that you can have. And half marathons is just one of the ways that I like to do that.
Beautiful. We have unpacked a lot today, from how fitness culture can trap us in punishment to how reclaiming play and leisure can transform our relationship with movement, our bodies, and even our communities. So now we close the way we always do. Finish the sentence. Leisure is living because.
Leisure is living because I get to experience it.
That's great. It's beautiful.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me here.
Thanks, Ashley. It was lovely meeting you.
Yeah, I love meeting you guys too.